While you're glued to your screen at open, the richest traders are still asleep. You're exhausted, overtrading, losing in chaos. Imagine waking rested, calm, profitable, trading less but earning more with a clear mind. This video shows you how to achieve that. The promise: financial abundance through strategic patience. But remember, results aren't guaranteed. This is for education only. Trading involves risk. Nothing is certain. The secret: it's so counterintuitive you'll question everything. Stay tuned to learn why sleeping in wins. This shifts your entire trading reality. The first 15 minutes of the market are a psychological minefield, and you're walking through it blindfolded. You think you see a pattern, but what you're seeing is noise. At the open, orders from overnight news, institutional repositioning, and panic from the previous close collide. It's the most volatile, unpredictable window of the entire trading day. You take a small loss, then a bigger one. You revenge trade. That's not a strategy, that's a reaction. And it's not your fault. The open is designed to trigger you. Every morning, retail traders flood in with emotion-driven orders, chasing momentum that's already fading. It's the amateur rush, and the market feeds on it. You're not trading the market, you're trading your own adrenaline. But if it's so dangerous, why do 90% of traders trade it anyway? Because you're addicted. Not to money, to dopamine. That first candle, that sudden spike, it hijacks your brain's reward system. You fear missing out on a massive move. You tell yourself, this time I'll be fast enough. But you never are. The illusion of not missing out is exactly that, an illusion. The open is like a stampede. Loud, chaotic, and the ones who survive aren't the ones who run with the herd. They wait for the dust to settle. Stillness creates clarity, and clarity keeps your account alive. But there's a deeper reason you're drawn here, a reason institutions designed the open to psychologically manipulate you. I'll reveal exactly how they set you up to fail, and why you keep falling for it. Here's what market makers do at the open. They see your stop losses. They know the pain points. Thin liquidity lets them spike price through a key level just to trigger your stop before snapping back. That's a stop hunt. You felt it. You see a breakout, enter, and go underwater instantly. That wasn't a breakout. It was a fake-out. Institutions exploit opening liquidity gaps to move price against the herd. They manufacture the moves you chase. You're trading against algorithms that know your triggers. The open isn't a fair fight, it's a psychological ambush. Every time you jump in blindfolded, you hand your money to the designers. That's why your account bleeds in the first hour. You take a loss, feel angry, revenge trade, exactly what they want. You're caught in their loop. What if the very moment you feel most urgent is the exact moment you should do nothing? That rush, pounding heart, sweaty palms isn't intuition. It's manufactured urgency, designed to make you feel that if you don't act now, you'll miss the move of the day. But that urgency is a lie. Every time you act on it, you deepen the pattern. One impulsive trade becomes a revenge trade. A small loss becomes a blown account. Over weeks, those emotional decisions compound. The real damage isn't the money you lose, it's the discipline you destroy. You're training yourself to be reactive, and reactive traders don't survive. So what if, instead of clicking, you paused? Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. Discipline creates wealth. The traders who build real wealth know this. The ones who master doing nothing at the open are the ones who win. Mastering that pause is the foundation of a wealthy trading career. You've been caught in the opening bell trap. The emotional hijacking, the stop hunts, the fake breakouts, they're not random. They're designed. And now you see it. But knowing is only half the battle. Rich traders don't just avoid the open. They've built a calm, repeatable process that keeps them profitable while the herd loses. They don't react to the madness. They prepare for it. Often, that preparation starts the night before. Because trading isn't about what you do when the charts are screaming. It's about what you do when the world is quiet. So what do they do instead? It starts with sleep. In the next part, I'll lay out the exact morning routine that separates the 1% from the 99%. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. Discipline compounds into real wealth. Wealth in trading isn't built by doing more. It's built by doing less at exactly the right time. Your brain, however, is wired for more. The prefrontal cortex, your decision-making center, fatigues with each impulse you resist. When you're sleep-deprived, that fatigue hits faster. Studies show just one night of poor sleep spikes dopamine sensitivity to quick rewards, making you chase low-probability setups. You feel the urge to act even when the chart offers nothing. It's not a character flaw, it's biology. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. Cortisol and adrenaline flood your system at market open. Your heart rate lifts. Your breath shortens. You mistake that physiological arousal for conviction, believing your body is telling you to trade when it's merely reacting to the clock. That stress response narrows your vision. You see patterns that aren't there. The rich trader's edge isn't a better strategy. It's a better nervous system. They've trained themselves to let the chemical wave pass before touching the keyboard. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Patience is the ultimate competitive advantage because most traders will never develop it. They treat the market like a machine gun, spraying orders, hoping volume creates results. The market rewards the sniper, not the machine gunner. The sniper breathes, waits for the conditions to align, takes one clean shot and disappears. You don't need 10 mediocre trades a day. You need one precise entry when the odds are overwhelmingly in your favor. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. Have you ever noticed your worst trades happen when you're rushed? That's FOMO, fear of missing out, silently draining your account. FOMO is a liar. It whispers that opportunity won't come again, so you jump without a plan. The psychological cost compounds. One rushed loss leads to revenge trading, which leads to deeper drawdowns. Flip the script. Adopt a delayed gratification mindset. Tell yourself, there will always be another setup. The moment you truly believe that, the impulse to chase collapses. There's a specific time window-rich traders wait for, and it's not the open. They've learned emotional detachment is the doorway to clarity. A rested mind recognizes high-probability patterns instantly because it operates in the parasympathetic state, not fight or flight. When your nervous system is calm, discipline becomes automatic, not forced. Let me show you exactly when the smart money actually moves. The real money isn't made at 9:30 a.m. It's made when the crowd is exhausted, when the FOMO has burned out, and the amateurs have handed over their accounts. You know the feeling. You place a trade right at the open, adrenaline surging, convinced this is the move. Then it reverses and stops you out. It's not your fault. The method you were taught is broken. Here's what actually works. After the opening chaos, there's a settling period. Volatility contracts, and the market takes a breath. This is when the real direction emerges. The mid-morning reversal zones, typically between 10:30 and 11:30 ET, become high-probability areas because the false moves have been cleared. The noise fades and the signal appears. Patience in this window is not laziness, it's precision. Sit on your hands, watch, wait. The market will reveal itself, always. There's a window professionals call the golden hour, and most retail traders sleep through the wrong one. It's not the opening bell. It's the hour after, when the crowd has exhausted its energy and the noise fades. Around mid-morning, institutions quietly accumulate. They don't chase price, they absorb it. Volume profiles show low-volume nodes getting filled, creating levels that hold. Liquidity reveals true intent. The smart money leaves footprints in the calm, not the storm. You've been told to chase activity, but the real moves happen in the silence. Wait for the market to settle, and you'll see what others miss. Boredom becomes your compass. The quiet is where the big players operate. You just have to be still enough to notice. Stop fighting the open. The real battle is won in the waiting room. Patience is the ultimate indicator. Always. Trading the open is like fishing in a storm. The water is chaotic, the fish are scattered, and you're just getting tossed around. Waiting for the setup is fishing when the water's calm. You see the fish clearly, you cast with precision, and you land bigger catches. This is confirmation over prediction. You stop trying to guess where the market will go. Instead, you let it show its hand. A retest that holds, a failed breakdown, volume coming in at a key level, that's the market speaking. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. When you wait, the market hands you a road map. You stop being a gambler and start being a trader. The calm water reveals the structure. Patience isn't passive, it's your weapon. Let the market come to you. Only then do you truly see clearly. By trading less frequently, rich traders actually catch bigger moves. It sounds backwards, but it's the simplest edge you'll ever have. Quality setups over quantity. The market rewards patience, not activity. Picture two traders starting with the same account. The impulsive one trades 5 times a day, reacting to every tick. He takes small profits, gets stopped out frequently, and ends the month emotionally exhausted and down 2%. The patient trader waits. He takes only 3 trades the entire month, each clearly telegraphed by volume and structure. He risks 1% to make 3%, compounding with calm precision. By month's end, he's up 9%, his confidence intact. The impulsive trader is chasing noise. The patient one is letting the trend come to him. Less screen time, bigger R multiples. That's the mathematics of mastery. Fewer trades, more wealth. It's not magic, it's restraint. But this all falls apart without one crucial thing. The perfect window, cleanest setup, calmest water, useless if you can't execute. You see the signal, but fear whispers. You relive losses, second guess, freeze. Discipline isn't knowing. It's doing when everything screams otherwise. The gap between seeing and executing is where accounts die. The rich trader waits, then acts with conviction. That click, that breath, profit or pain, most crack under the silence. The window closes and they're left watching. You must become the trader who doesn't flinch. The one who sees and pulls without thought. That's not talent, it's training. Next, we hardwire that response. So when the moment comes, you're ready. Timing is half the battle, the rest is nerve. Let's build it. The window doesn't wait for doubt. It opens for the decisive. Are you ready? Next step is choice. Your morning routine is quietly deciding whether you'll be rich or broke. You wake up already behind, grab your phone and scan headlines with one eye open. Cortisol spikes. You rush to your desk, coffee in hand, heart already racing. That frantic energy doesn't stay in the morning. It spills directly into your first trade. You overtrade to catch up. You chase. The rested trader knows sleep is a performance tool. 7 hours. No screens an hour before bed. A dark, cool room. You wake without an alarm when possible, letting your body finish its repair cycle. Then you move. Not a workout, just movement. 10 minutes of walking or stretching tells your nervous system you're safe. Safety is where clear decisions are born. Panic is where accounts die. When you sit down to review the overnight session, you're coming from stillness, not chaos. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. Now comes the pre-market ritual that replaces the need for adrenaline. You're not looking for a trade yet, you're preparing to see clearly. You review your key levels from yesterday. Not 20 pairs, not scanning headlines. You're checking the zones you already identified when the market was closed and your mind was objective. You're asking one question: has structure changed? That's it. You're not predicting, you're observing. Then you set alerts at those levels and walk away from the screen. The most frantic traders sit glued to 1-minute charts 2 hours before the open, already exhausted by 9:30. Your edge isn't more screen time. It's preserved mental energy. You're showing up to the open fresh while the market hands free money to the patient. What if the most profitable thing you do all day happens before you place a single trade? Not in finding the setup, but in preparing the mind that will execute it. Your pre-session journaling isn't busy work. It's an honest conversation with yourself. You write down your emotional state: tired, anxious, overconfident, bored. If you don't name it, you'll trade from it. Then you build your watch list from the zones you already mapped, not from some alert service or chat room. Your watch list has 2 or 3 assets, each with a clear invalidation point. You know exactly where you're wrong before you ever risk a dollar. This constraint is freedom. The amateur thinks more instruments mean more opportunity. The professional knows concentration builds mastery. You're now holding a plan that removes the question, "What should I do?" at the moment of maximum temptation. A defined trading plan removes emotion because the decision was already made by a calm version of you. You're not deciding in the trade. You decided last night or this morning when you felt nothing. The plan says, if price reaches this level with this structure, I take the trade with this risk. There's no debate. The market triggers the alert and you execute. You are now a manager of a system, not a gambler hoping for a score. When the trade is on, your only job is to do nothing unless your invalidation or target is hit. That's the entire job. The plan absorbs the fear and greed so you don't have to. Your morning ritual built the plan. The market session simply runs it. And when you walk away after the close, win or lose, you know you acted with integrity. That sleep is deep. There's one habit that separates consistent traders from gamblers: coming up. It's not a secret indicator. It's not a proprietary strategy. It's the relentless focus on process over outcome. The gambler asks, "How much did I make?" The professional asks, "Did I follow my plan without exception?" You can execute perfectly and lose money. That's not a failure. That's a statistical cost of doing business. You can break every rule and make money. That's not a win. That's a future blow-up being funded. When you shift your obsession from P and L to process, something releases inside your chest. The desperation dissolves. You stop needing any single trade to work. You trust that correct decisions made consistently compound into equity curves that trend up and right. The money becomes a byproduct of your discipline, not the target of your chase. Routine reduces decision fatigue, and decision fatigue is why smart people make stupid trades. Studies show judges give harsher sentences before lunch. Your brain runs on a finite battery of willpower. Every small choice you make before the open, what to eat, what to read, what alert to set, what to ignore, depletes that battery. A ritual eliminates those micro decisions. You eat the same breakfast. You review the same checklist. You sit in the same chair at the same time with the same intention. This isn't rigid superstition. It's deliberately boring design. When the market throws chaos at you, and it will, you have maximum cognitive reserves to stay calm. The trader without a routine already spent their focus on YouTube videos, Discord arguments, and checking 20 different opinions. They show up to the open mentally bankrupt. The routine is the trader's armor against the chaos of the market. Imagine a medieval soldier running naked onto a battlefield, then wondering why he's bleeding. That's you trading without preparation. The market is not a fair opponent. It's designed to exploit your impulses, your fatigue, and your fear. Your morning ritual is each plate of armor you strap on before stepping onto that field. Sleep is the base layer. Movement is the chainmail. Review is the breastplate. Journaling is the helmet. The trading plan is the shield you raise when arrows fly. When you're armored, the same chaos that destroys others bounces off you. You still feel the impacts, the losses, the drawdowns, the missed moves, but they don't penetrate. They don't knock you out of the fight. Tomorrow you suit up again. You are not the same trader who started this journey. You've moved from chasing money to building a mind that money gravitates toward. The psychology of risk has been rewritten. You understand loss as tuition, not punishment. You see boredom as the state where edge compounds. You've stopped fighting yourself and started observing yourself. The routine is now the container that holds this new identity. Without it, you slip back. With it, you are unreachable by the market's attempts to destabilize you. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. The final transformation requires public proof. Right now, pause this video. If you're serious about ending the cycle of self-sabotage, hit like and subscribe. Then go to the comments and type the word trading. This is your public commitment. It locks in the new habit and tells your brain this is real. I'll see you in the comments. Before you go, I've included 2 free gifts in the description below. The first is the 15-step checklist to use before every trade. Print it, laminating it. It forces you to prove the setup meets every criterion before you risk capital. No more impulse entries. The second is a risk management calculator. Enter your account size, and it tells you exactly how many contracts or shares to trade so you never risk too much again. Together, these tools will skyrocket your consistency and help you trade calm, not chaotic. Download them now before they're gone. They'll build the exact routine you need to make everything in this video permanent. See you in the next one. Every extra trade you take at the open is a slow leak in your account. You might not feel it at first, a small commission here, a half-point spread there. But the math is relentless. Add just 2 unnecessary trades a day, and over a year the costs compound into thousands. That's before emotional errors. Forced trades create forced decisions, chasing, revenge, impulsiveness. Your edge doesn't vanish in one blow. It erodes trade by trade, like sand against rock. You look back at the month and wonder why you're down when your system should be profitable. The silent killer isn't a bad strategy. It's the sheer weight of too many clicks. Spreads widen, commissions stack. Each impulse adds friction. Your real edge shrinks with every new position. Frequency doesn't just cost you money. It destroys your edge over time. Every trade you take dilutes your best setups. The more you act, the more you invite randomness, noise, and low probability outcomes. Your strategy gets buried under a pile of mediocre entries. The trader who does nothing often outperforms the one who does everything. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. Yet you feel compelled to act. The addiction to being in the market is real. Your brain craves the dopamine hit of a new position, the illusion of control. You check charts because stillness feels like failure. One more trade, you think, will fix the day. But each click tightens a habit that bleeds accounts silently. Action without edge is just noise. You're not trading, you're reacting. The market exploits this compulsion ruthlessly. Quietly, steadily, it drains you. You sit at your screen, scanning tickers, feeling productive. But that feeling is an illusion. Trading isn't a job where hours worked equals output. More screen time doesn't mean more edge, it means more distraction. You mistake activity for progress. The real question cuts deep. How many of your losses came from trades you didn't need to take? Those entries born from boredom, not necessity. The antidote is the no-trade day. It's not a day wasted, it's a day of strength. You watch, you wait, and you do nothing. That stillness is a position in itself. Choosing not to act is a deliberate act of discipline. The market rewards patience, not presence. When you can sit through a whole session without forcing a single click, you begin to trade like a professional. That's where true edge is forged, in the silence between trades. Professionals understand that the market doesn't owe them a trade every day. They sit on their hands for days, sometimes weeks, waiting for conditions to align perfectly. This isn't laziness, it's survival. A cheetah doesn't chase every gazelle. It studies the herd, conserves energy, and strikes only when the odds are overwhelmingly in its favor. That's selectivity, and it's your ultimate edge. Every trade you decline is a trade that can't harm you. You preserve capital, mental clarity, and confidence for the few A-plus setups that truly matter. In a world of noise, the trader who says no the most often is the one who wins. Your edge isn't in finding more opportunities. It's in rejecting the mediocre ones. Patience isn't passive, it's a weapon. The cheetah knows, one sure kill beats 100 frantic sprints. Learn to wait. Your account depends on it. You must reframe boredom. That restless itch to place a trade. That's the price of profitability. Every moment of boredom is a tax you pay to the market for the right to withdraw its profits. When you feel idle, you're actually doing the most important work, protecting mental capital. The professionals aren't entertained, they're disciplined. They accept that trading is 90% waiting and 10% execution. If you're bored, you're doing it right. But avoiding overtrading requires one skill most traders lack. It's not discipline, not willpower. It's something deeper, something embedded in how you see yourself and the market. Boredom protects your edge. Embrace the silence, that's mastery, yet the deepest skill remains untapped. In the next part we reveal it. Stay with me. The real transformation begins now. Rich traders don't focus on how much they can win. They obsess over how little they can lose. You've been taught to chase gains, but that's why you feel terror every time you click. True risk management isn't a safety net. It's the engine. You size positions so small that a single loss barely registers. The 1 to 2% rule isn't restrictive, it's liberating. You can take a hit, journal it, and move on without your heart pounding. Stop thinking about the fortune you'll make and start guarding the capital you have. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. When you protect capital first, you stop making the same painful mistake over and over. There's a reason the wealthiest traders can sleep peacefully, and it's not their win rate. It's knowing a string of losses won't knock them out. Capital preservation compounds over time. You keep what you earn, so the next winner builds on a base that wasn't shredded. Imagine no longer watching a single trade as if your rent depends on it. Small, controlled risk gives you emotional freedom. Your brain stops flooding with cortisol. You sit back, observe, and wait for the setup that deserves your money. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. Losing small isn't a weakness. It's the quiet superpower that keeps you in the game long after the gamblers are gone. You can be wrong more often than right and still get rich. This twist baffles struggling traders, but the math is simple. When you risk 1 to make 3, you only need a 33% win rate to grow. Asymmetric bets turn probability in your favor. The wealthy trader ignores prediction and builds a system where a few outsized wins erase dozens of tiny losers. Stop chasing perfect entries. Focus on risk-reward ratios that make being wrong feel irrelevant. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. You'll find that pressing the button no longer feels like jumping off a cliff. It feels like a calculated, boring step in a process you trust. Risk management is the seatbelt that lets you drive fast without fear. You wouldn't race a car without one. So why trade unprotected? A rested, patient trader waits for only high-quality risk. You sleep deeply because you know exactly what you can lose, and it's a number you accepted before the trade ever opened. No midnight panic, no checking the screen in the dark, just a calm certainty that tomorrow you'll still have capital to deploy. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. When you buckle in, you stop flinching. The market's noise fades and your focus sharpens on repeatable edges that quietly compound wealth. Low risk flows into low stress. Low stress builds better sleep. Better sleep fuels better decisions. That loop is the rich trader's real system. Patience plus risk control doesn't sound flashy, but it's the gravity that pulls all other skills together. You stop revenge trading. You stop forcing setups. You become the version of yourself that the market can't shake. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. This isn't about being fearless. It's about respecting danger so thoroughly that you remove its power. Master this, and everything changes. Now let's confront the biggest enemy standing in your way. Your biggest opponent isn't the market. It's the voice in your head at 9:30 a.m. That voice craves action. It demands revenge after a loss, whispering that you need to get back in immediately to prove yourself. You take a painful loss. 2 hours later, you enter a trade that doesn't fit your plan just to feel the rush. That's self-sabotage. It's your ego hijacking your system. The ego doesn't care about your account balance. It only wants validation. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. Why do you keep making the same mistake even when you know better? Because knowing and doing are separated by a wall of emotion. You read the charts, you understand the setup, but in the moment, your body feels it first. The heart rate climbs, the shoulders tighten, and suddenly the rational part of your brain goes silent. You are not broken, you're human. The gap exists because you haven't trained to notice the trigger before it becomes the action. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. There's a simple mental technique that stops impulsive trades cold. Before you click the mouse, you pause. You take one deliberate breath, feeling the air fill your lungs, and you ask, what would the disciplined version of me do? That pause breaks the autopilot. It inserts a wedge between stimulus and response. Detachment is not about not caring. It's about observing your emotions without being controlled by them. You watch the urge to trade like a cloud passing. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. Discipline is a muscle, and the market open is your daily gym. Every morning you have a finite reservoir of willpower. Rested traders hold the line. Exhausted traders reach for the mouse just to feel something. Protect your energy. Sleep is a performance-enhancing tool. When you are fresh, you can catch yourself 3 seconds before the mistake. You rebuild that muscle one trade, one pause at a time. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. You begin to shift. You stop being a reactive gambler, jerked around by every candle. You become a responsive strategist, observing from a calm center. The market still moves, but you no longer move with it unless your plan says so. This is the transformation, from a trader who fights himself to one who has befriended his own mind. Let's put this all together into a real system you can use, starting with the one routine that anchors everything. Here's how everything connects into one unshakable trading identity. You've absorbed the pillars: sleep as your edge, patience as your strategy, timing as your art, routine as your anchor, risk as your respect, discipline as your freedom. Each alone is fragile. Together, they form a system that runs you, so you don't have to run on willpower. Wake without an alarm because your body trusts the rhythm. Review the overnight session not to find trades, but to understand the narrative without pressure. Journal one intention. Today I will only touch my A+ setup, or I will touch nothing. You eat, you move, you let your brain breathe. At market open, you don't chase. You watch price approach your predetermined zone. You wait. The decision is already made. The only task is to see if the market offers the gift. It often doesn't. You accept that stillness is the win. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. By noon, win or lose, you step away. Not because the day is over, but because the plan is fulfilled. No screen revenge, no euphoric overtrading. You live the rest of the day as a whole person. At night you review with curiosity, not judgment, and set the next day's zones. Then sleep, deep, guiltless sleep. The system isn't about working harder. It's about becoming someone the market can't shake. Most traders burn out fighting the market. You're building a self that the market respects because you've drawn clear lines and you honor them before the chart even loads. You're not reacting, you're responding from a blueprint. When the market whipsaws, your heart rate stays low because you're observing, not grasping. You've become the type of person who waits, not passively but powerfully. Identity-based trading means you don't just take a setup. You become the setup's guardian. You protect your capital like it's your future family's time. You protect your mental clarity like it's oxygen. And here's the hidden engine. Consistency doesn't just add gains, it compounds your trust in yourself. Every small, righteous act of patience builds a credit score with your own psyche. Over weeks, you stop hesitating. Over months, you execute without internal noise. Over years, the account curve isn't jagged. It's a slow, upward migration that looks boring from a distance but feels like freedom close up. What would your account look like if you only took your best setups? Delete the noise. Remove the mediocre, the almost, the fear of missing out entries. Imagine a ledger where 80% of the trades simply aren't there, and the remaining 20% carry a win rate that makes the math effortless. You'd see red days vanish, drawdowns shrink to pinpricks, and the equity curve begin to breathe. The transformation isn't instant, but it's predictable. Month 1, you'll still flinch, still reach for the mouse early, but you'll catch yourself faster. Month 3, the waiting feels less like torture and more like craft. Month 6, friends ask why you're so calm and your account is quietly up double digits with minimal stress. Year 1. You don't even remember the old version of you who used to sweat every tick. Obstacles will come, boredom, the itch to override, a sudden loss that shakes your confidence. But you'll have a response, not a reaction. You'll step back to the building blocks, dial risk to micro size, and prove to your nervous system that the method still holds. That's how you starve the doubt until it vanishes. You're not building a trade. You're building a machine that prints patience. Every session you sit, you're installing a gear. Every time you walk away without forcing, you're oiling the bearings. This machine doesn't run on caffeine or hope. It runs on the quiet certainty that if you show up and do nothing unnecessary, the market will eventually deliver the only thing that matters, the setup you've already priced in. And because you've stopped bleeding energy on could best, you have reserves for the moment. Of course, this is educational, results vary, and trading involves risk of loss, but the framework is timeless. You were the trader who thought more effort meant more reward, who'd sit glued to the screen, burning account and soul. Now, you're the trader who says no more than yes, whose patience isn't a struggle but a default state. You've stopped chasing and started receiving. The before, frantic, exhausted, distrusting your own decisions. The after, steady, rested, a person who trades to live, not lives to trade. Before you go, there's one final truth you need to hear. The market will open tomorrow whether you're rushing or resting. The choice is yours. You've believed more action means more profit, but the paradox is, doing less earns more. Stillness creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. Discipline creates wealth. Your losses came from motion, not patience. The market rewards the calm, not the frantic. Imagine waking without the urge to check pre-market. You breathe. You trust your plan. Financial abundance flows from being, not doing. Being present, being patient, being profitable. This is the truth of the 1%. They don't chase, they attract. They don't fight, they flow. You can too. The old you rushed, the new you rests. And in that rest, you find everything you've been chasing: freedom, calm, and endless abundance. Stillness isn't laziness. It's the highest form of action. Your wealth waits for you in the quiet. Will you keep chasing the open, or will you finally sleep through it? Picture the trader you'll become. You wake at 8 a.m., not 4 a.m. You review your charts with calm eyes. Your trades are few, but your profits are many. You don't stress because you trust yourself. You're patient, you're profitable, you're peaceful. This isn't a fantasy, it's your future if you choose it today. But transformation is a daily practice. Each morning you decide, fear or flow, react or respond. The market will test you, but you have the tools now. The old habits were chains, the new rhythm is freedom. Remember, clarity comes from discipline, so commit to the practice. One day at a time, you build the life of a wealthy trader, the calm, disciplined, wealthy trader you are now becoming. Stay patient, stay persistent. The old you fought the market, the new you flows with it. You pushed, now you allow. You struggled, now you surrender. And in surrender you find strength. Remember, trading is a game of psychology, not predicting. Before we continue, a reminder. This is for educational purposes only. There are no guaranteed results. Trade responsibly and only with money you can afford to lose. I'm here to guide, not to promise. Your journey is yours and the market holds no certainties. But you can stack the odds in your favor. Start with one change tomorrow. Maybe you sleep past the open. Maybe you journal every trade. Maybe you meditate before your first chart. Small shifts create massive results. You've learned the secrets. The market will open, but you no longer need to fight it. Flow and the profits will follow. The rich trader's secret was never a strategy. It was self-mastery. The charts don't make you wealthy, your discipline does. The indicators don't bring peace, your patience does. You've been looking outside for answers that have always been within. Now you know. Now it's time to act. If this resonates with you, commit to your transformation right now. Hit that like button if you're ready to trade smarter, not harder. Subscribe to join a community of disciplined traders. And most importantly, comment below, just write trading. That one word is your public promise. A promise to yourself that you'll trade with clarity, calm, and purpose. The old you chased, the new you chooses. Type it now. Trading. Hold yourself accountable today. This isn't just a comment, it's a commitment. A commitment to the calm, profitable trader you're becoming. Stay true. Before you go, I have 2 gifts for you in the description. The 15-step checklist to use before every trade. It ensures you only take high-probability setups, filtering out the noise and the fear. And the risk management calculator to never risk too much again. It protects your account like a shield, so you trade with peace, not panic. These tools will skyrocket your results and build the calm, disciplined, wealthy trader mindset you've been craving. They're free because I believe in your transformation. So grab them now. Let them be your daily armor. The market will open tomorrow, but you no longer have to fight it. You've learned the secret. The rich trader's edge was never a strategy. It was self-mastery. Now go and trade from the stillness within. Your new life starts now. Sleep well, trade better, live freely.